Yes, I'm still here, Hollywood. And coming up on today's episode, tell me about working with Heath Ledger.
What a lovely person he was. I have been told, stay away from Heath, he's into the character. Oh my God, he's gone. Wasn't like that at all. He was perfectly fine. I am in love with my daughter's work these days. Like I can't believe how great she's become.
Emma Roberts.
I'm so proud of her, I can't see straight. You'll have to ask her.
Oh.
I love my sister, but I can't talk about her. She don't want to talk about it, and also my daughters told me also not to talk about her, but I stumbled and do. I'm not supposed to talk about either of them.
Okay.
But I do.
All right. How do you define a Hollywood legend? Is it the number of roles that they've played? Is it reaching over $1 billion in box office receipts? Is it longevity? This is Still Here Hollywood. I'm Steve Kmetko. Join me with today's guest, who has acted in over 700 films, Hollywood legend Eric Roberts. Hi, Eric.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this for us. We're just kind of getting off the ground.
My
more or
pleasure,
less.
pal. This is what friends are for.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So, I told you I was going to start off with this question.
Okay.
What possessed you to become an actor? When did the acting bug first bite?
Well, actually, it like started out as a crutch. When I was a little boy, I had a terrible stutter. I couldn't talk to anybody without what, and in school everybody would laugh, and so it was kind of a thing. I was ostracized, for it, and so. But I learned something when I memorized stuff. I could speak without stuttering, so that's how it started. And then I started to learn to have fun at it, and then I got good at it, and then I decided, well, this is me. And that's why I'm an actor. It was an evolution, of course. It took like 20 years, basically. But yeah, that's how it all started.
A 20-year overnight sensation.
There you go.
Like they say. Your parents had something to do with acting as well, correct?
My father had a young people's acting school called the Actors and then a Writers Workshop, funded in part by the Martin Luther King Foundation. And he patterned it after Joe Papp's Theater in New York, and that we had a showmobile. And all week long, we would tour the underprivileged areas of Atlanta. And then on weekends, we'd have theater in the park, like Joe Papp would have a theater in Central Park. And that's how I grew up.
That's great.
Yeah. I did 8 to 12 plays every year of my life from the time I'm like 4 years old until I left home. Yeah.
Are you glad that you took this choice, that you took this path? Do you like being an actor?
I have the best job on the planet.
Hey, I used to have the best job on the planet.
What was that?
Working as an entertainment reporter. I love being out here.
Well, I feel I do have the best job on the planet, and I've seen the planet now a couple, 3 times for free, because of my job. So I can't say enough great things about being an actor.
How about being in Hollywood? Do you like it?
Hollywood, Bollywood, it can be anywhere. It's just as long as you're working as an actor, and it's either here or New York. That's how it used to be. Now it's everywhere. But it was either here or New York when I first started, and you had to be one or the other or both, and that's how you did it.
I saw you once at a Starbucks in Glendale. I was behind you in line.
Did we say hi?
No, I wanted to say hi, but I was too scared. I was a chicken back then.
Scared of me?
Yes. Scared of my own shadow, to tell you the truth.
I'm sorry.
What about The Dark Knight? Did you enjoy that film?
Oh, are you kidding? Of course. It was, well, let me tell you. We shot all the Chicago stuff in Chicago.
Which is where I live.
Yeah, okay. I love that town. Great deep dish pizza. Then they were supposed to shoot at Pinewood, but that was a lie. We weren't going to Pinewood ever. We were going 30 miles north of London to the old Zeppelin hangar, which when you walk into it, if you're a movie geek, which I am, you walk into it, it's all Gotham City. Takes your breath away, and you want to cry. You're so happy to be there. It was so cool.
Yeah.
And it was just fun to be associated with that movie. And he's a real director, and he knows what he wants, and he tells you what he wants, and he gave me my favorite direction I ever got. I'm like doing a scene, and it's with a girl. It's in a bar, and I'm being very, bravadic, and blah, 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 blah. And Chris Nolan says, "Cut!" really loud, because he's way away from us. Cut! Over the speaker, whatever it was. What's going on? Eric Roberts, don't be funny. And I knew exactly what he meant. Don't like you playing on the head. And so but it was just hysterical that God's voice from the speakers told me not to be funny, and I'm not known for being funny at all. So it was a real pleasure for me to be told that.
Tell me about working with Heath Ledger.
What a lovely person he was. I had been told, stay away from Heath. He's into the character. Oh my God, he's gone. It wasn't like that at all. He was perfectly fine. And in fact, I had 5 scenes with Batman. With the Joker. One was with all of us all together. And he's got a 3-page monologue. And he walked in the rehearsal for it. It's a camera rehearsal, and we're all like in our street clothes. We're all hanging out. We all have our scripts. And he walks out there, and he's going through the monologue, blah, 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 and he gets to the end of the monologue, and he's done with the monologue, and he's done. And he turns to us and he goes, how am I doing? He's just so charming, so likable, so sweet, so normal. And all the stuff that I heard about him was not true. And he was a lovely person. He was a real loss.
But like so many of us, he just had some demons. May I ask about Julia at all?
What do you want to know?
I want to know, how is she?
You'll have to ask her.
Oh.
I love my sister, but I can't talk about her. She don't want to talk about it. And also my daughters told me also not to talk about her, but I stumbled and do. I'm not supposed to talk about either of them.
Okay.
But I do.
All right. Eric, tell me, what was your very first film?
King of the Gypsies. And it was an open audition. The studio wanted John Travolta, because everybody wanted John Travolta in 1978 for everything. But Frank Pearson wanted an unknown. He also wrote it from Peter Moss's book. He wanted an unknown to play the part, so there was no preconceived anything about the character. And so I auditioned 5 times, and I screen tested, and he told Dino, that's what I want. And Dino De Laurentiis said okay, and hence I got my first movie.
Do you have any advice you would give kids who want to come to Hollywood?
Oh yeah, couple of things that are very important. You have to treat everybody you meet in this industry like they're going to be your boss next week, because they might be. And bosses are getting younger and younger. And the thing to remember about fame and about luck and about success is when you have it, you have to share it, and you learn that, and you learn it as you go through the evolution of like being somebody who is recognizable.
Have there been tough lessons along the way learning that?
It's not that big a deal. It's not that tough. The hard part is patience.
You have a lot of patience and have used it a lot of times. I mean, I couldn't believe when I reading one of the articles about you that you've had like 725 professional jobs.
I lost count at about films. 75. Yeah.
Well, multiply that by 10.
Well, it was weird. I did 1 to like 4 movies a year for the first 20 years I was in this industry. And then they took film and they gave us digital. So everybody who owned a camera became a studio. And so they started calling me direct. And my wife comes to me and says to me, this is in the mid-90s, and she says, you're getting 30 to 50 offers every day from all over the world. Do you want to go pursue this? I said, sure, let's go have fun. So we did, and I thought it would last a minute. And it's now 2024, and I'm still doing it. So
I know. I was also surprised to read your career has spanned 50 years.
Keep that down.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. We're just about the same age. I'm a little older.
Well, I'm 38, 39, 40. How old am I?
I'm 42 now.
Good for you, man. See? There we go.
Kidding.
I'm not.
No. Is it true you're writing a memoir? Do you have a memoir coming out in September?
Well, there's talk about it. This man approached me who I admire very much and said, you want to do this? And I said, well, I'll do it with you. So we started it, and we'll see how it goes.
How far along are you?
We're in it, How far along am I? As far as I'm concerned, I've just begun. Yeah.
Are you candid in it?
Candid? I'm honest. Candid sounds abrupt. I try not to be abrupt, but I'm honest, sure.
What is your favorite memory so far of what you've done, of your career?
Well, it depends on what category you want to talk about. Like
Film.
Like a directors of film, or experience of film, or falling in love with a character, or becoming a character. Like, what do you want to talk about?
Falling in love with a character.
Well, yeah. There was a time, like there was a part I played in the 80s in a movie called The Pope of Greenwich Village. And I got that script in January of that year, and the book, with a note that said, pick a part, Polly or Charlie. And so I read the book, I read the script, and I picked Polly, and I called the producers. I picked Polly. They said, we wanted you to pick Charlie. I said, why? And they said, because he's more a straight guy, and he's handsome, he's a leading man, he wears suits, and he's cool, and we thought that was you. I said, how nice of you. Nah, I want to play this weirdo. They said, okay. But I said, the way that he's written, though, is, he's on the nose, kind of a New York, wannabe mafioso tough guy, kind of cliche. I said, that's been done a million times. I don't want to play that. I want to play it very differently. And they said, whatever you want to do, Eric, you do it. We hired you because it's you. I said, okay, great. So that was January. So we started a rehearsal. We had 5 days of rehearsal at the end of August, and we started to shoot in September. So I had 8 months, and I dropped 30 pounds, and I permed my hair, and I became this guy. So that was probably my most fun I ever had, becoming something I wasn't.
What about Runaway Train?
What about it?
Did you enjoy that?
It was the hardest, most intense, on-location movie experience I've ever had, because of the cold, because of the train, because of the location, Alaska, and because it was a very physical movie. And it wasn't fun. It was hard. But Jon Voight is a great actor, and Jon Voight, I never knew how we had nothing in common, because I thought we had everything in common, because he stayed in character the whole time. He never broke character. I never knew Jon Voight. I knew the character he was playing. So I loved this guy. And then I found out we have almost nothing in common after the movie was over. I said, really? God, I would never have thought that. I treasure him as a co-star, always will. He was so good to me.
How so?
In that he was just the actor I needed for the actor he wanted. I gave, he took, he gave, I took, and we did it. We just had a good-ass time, and we made a good-ass movie.
We'll be back for more in a moment.
I'm so proud of her I can't see straight. Since her performance in Maybe I Do until right now, she overwhelms me with pride.
Is there anything you haven't done yet that you'd like to?
Yeah, there is. There was talk about it years ago, and then it just vanished. So I did a lot of homework on it, because I was interested in the concept. And I realized I can still play him. I can still play him the last 10 years of his life, and that's Nureyev. I want to play him when he stopped dancing. And his life was incredibly huge and incredibly tragic and incredibly poignant and incredibly important, I think, to share his experience. And I did a lot of homework on him. I did a lot of research on how he looked, how he sounded, how he moved, how he...
And his voice was very in the back of his throat, as if he smoked, which he did. And he was also, of course, alcoholic, drug addict, everything you could think of. But the way he talked, I love how he talked. And he was he had his smoker's talk, how he talked.
And I just want to play him desperately. And he was a cool cat. And he was very broken, but he was very gifted. and I want to play him.
Have you ever seen his grave?
I have not.
You gotta look it up.
Tell me.
Google it.
Help me.
He has. It's in. I don't know if it's directly in Paris or in a suburb of Paris, but I have kind of a fascination with the way people are buried and where. And in fact, I want to get over to Forever's Hollywood Cemetery to see Judy Garland's grave.
I've done that.
Have you?
Yeah, it's cool.
I was over there before it was all set up, and interesting. Anyway, Nureyev is buried in or near Paris, and his tomb looks like a Asian rug, not unlike something like this, and it's all done with mosaics with the folds in it, like
Tiles?
Yes, like it's laid over a casket. It is spectacular.
I can't wait to go see it sometime. Thank you for telling me.
It's really something, and I think it says a lot about the man too.
Yeah.
That he wanted to be remembered that way. What would you do about the physical stuff? You would play him after?
Oh yeah, because I don't have those legs. he and Baryshnikov had the legs of the 20th century. Yeah, no, I can't do that.
I was invited once to see the American Ballet Theater here when, I think it was the American Ballet Theater, when Nureyev was the artistic director. And they weren't drawing very well in Los Angeles at that time. And I was introduced to the conductor. And he said, why don't you come down? And I took my sister down. She was visiting me. And after it was over, he said, come back and I'll introduce you to Nureyev, or to Baryshnikov.
Wow, cool.
And I walked in with my sister, and all I saw were these buns of steel, in white tights. And I just thought to myself, wow, is that what dancing does for you? And my sister, of course, her jaw dropped. And it was very interesting to meet him and to see him. And the conductor told me, because he was trying to drum up some business, Baryshnikov, he went on stage. He wasn't scheduled to, but he did. And the conductor said, you saw something very special today. And it was. I remember that dance, the dances they did, and he was spectacular.
I've got a Baryshnikov story for you. I'm working for Bob Fosse, and we became very
Star
close.
80, right?
Star 80. We became very close. We were together for 3 months, before we ever shot a frame of film. We'd just doing homework together and research. Anyway, and we told some personal stories to each other. And one story he told me was about he was madly in love with Jessica Lange. He was in love with her. He said, and that's how he put it, I was in love with her, where it breaks your heart already. You're like, what happened? Well, I dance a lot, I like when I'm celebrating and when I feel good, do a little jig, blah, 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 and blah, 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 and we're dating and blah, 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 and, I'm the kind of guy that, if we have a great, love-making session, I might do a little dance. I don't know, blah, 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 blah. Or it's a good dinner, I might do a little dance. I don't know. I'm that kind of guy, blah, blah, blah. And so I asked her, how about Sunday afternoon? And she says, you're going there for 5 or 6 months. How's your Sunday? I'm sorry, I'm busy. You're busy? With what? I have a date. I have a luncheon. Wow, with who? Baryshnikov. No, with Misha. Well, I didn't know who Misha was. I said, well, I thought it was a girl. I said, well, call me when you're done. Anyway, it turned out that it was, Baryshnikov. I never danced for her again. I always love that story.
That's Fosse saying that?
Yeah.
I never danced for her.
I never danced for her again.
He was quite a dancer himself.
Well, but
choreographer, director.
He was not Baryshnikov.
No, I suppose not. What gratifies you most about being an actor? What gives you the most satisfaction?
It's an interesting question because there is something very specific in the outcome of the endeavor, but it's kind of indefinable. And it's just a sense of satisfaction. And it's a sense of well-being. And a sense of trust in your understanding of yourself and your relationship to things and people. And it comes through the work. And the work, when you play the kind of people I play, sometimes you have to really work to find them and to present them properly so it's not a caricature, because I play very extreme people, and if you're not careful, it's a caricature, and so you have to be very careful. And but the question was,
What gratifies you the most?
Is the outcome of it is like crossing a finish line every day. Yeah, I made it, because it's tenuous, and it's also precious, and it's also personal, and it's also yours. So you're like sharing it, but you're also out there to be shot at, quite literally.
That would be intimidating.
Sometimes. Bob Fosse got me over being basically scared of anything.
Why? How?
I just experienced it all with that man.
Yeah.
And I just
Was he tough?
yeah, he was very tough. He made Meryl cry the first day on the set.
Really?
Dude, what are you doing? Make Meryl hour for makeup. Here we go. Yeah. He was rough.
I suppose you have to have hard times to some degree in order to
Oh, it's all relative. You know, hard times are war and starvation. I mean, come on. You know, look what's going on in Ukraine.
right,
I mean,
or in Gaza.
those are hard times. I have a great life, dude. Always have, and I know how really lucky I am. I know how really good my life has been and is. I have the marriage of a lifetime, and I am happy.
Eliza seems very nice talking on the phone yesterday.
She's my hero, pal.
She's very relaxed and in charge. You get that impression from her. She knows what she's doing, where you're concerned.
She's my boss.
How long have you been married?
31 years. I like her.
I would think so. If you've been with her that long, it helps to like them. What would you say is the best memory from your career so far? Would you say it was what you told me about, the working with Fosse and
Well, as far as the
getting
intense,
to know John Voight?
the intense creation part of it, the hardest job I ever had was, you know, when I worked with Fosse, you know, playing this guy who was not likable, but easy to caricature him. So we really worked hard not to, and so that was probably the hardest and most rewarding, because it was so difficult. But the most fun is a tie between many movies: King of the Gypsies, Runaway Train, It's My Party, The Pope of Greenwich Village, Love is a Gun, and Purgatory. Those experiences, and they're completely different personalities, characters, clothing, everything, hair, everything is different about all those characters. But those, it was like a paid vacation, those movies. I just have never had more fun or had more satisfaction, except really in my personal life with my wife, than those 6 experiences.
You may not know this, but I had a small part in It's My Party.
Cool. Who'd you play?
I didn't play anybody other than myself.
You were there.
I was a newscaster, and you hear my voice at the beginning of the movie, and I think at the end.
Well, cool. I love that movie.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of that movie.
My name is, like, I think, the last in the credits.
But it's there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was fun. And it completed my Hollywood experience to some degree.
Cool.
Is there a lot of actors I've noticed are able to point to another actor who they admired and who they make a point of seeing their movie or watching their work? You know, some people talk about Harrison Ford, or Spencer Tracy comes up a lot. Is there anyone in particular that you've admired?
You know, whenever you're asked that kind of question, and if you name one person, you're going to leave out 2. It doesn't really work to answer that question. But the way I can answer it and be honest about it is, I am in love with my daughter's work these days. Like, I can't believe how great she's become.
Emma Roberts.
I'm so proud of her, I can't see straight. Since her performance in Maybe I Do until right now, she overwhelms me with pride and just, oh my God, here she goes again. And I'm just so happy to be her dad because she's kicking ass. And I'm so proud.
Did you have anything to do with that?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing?
Except I gave her that name.
Speaking of names, I just found out today, I never knew this, that the doll, Barbie, its last name is Roberts.
I had no idea either. Thanks for telling me that.
Sure.
Wow. How cool is
I
that?
saw a story on the news today when I was watching it this morning, that her middle name is Priscilla or Penelope, and Barbara Millicent Roberts.
Wow.
Who knew?
Wow. A little Scottish in there, maybe. Huh?
Maybe.
Millicent.
Barbie ought to do pretty well at the Oscars, I think. How was the Oscar suite yesterday?
That was a lot of fun.
Was it?
It's not like it used to be, though. Back in the days, back when I was a young man, you would go to those things, and you'd walk out with a bag worth $2,000 to $15,000, maybe more, maybe $5,000 to $20,000 worth of stuff in your bag. Now you walk out with $500 or $800 worth of stuff, and it's fine. It's great to get free stuff. Everybody loves that, even those of mankind who were loaded love to get free stuff. But it's not the same. It's a little dime store-ish now, as opposed to extravagant.
I had the pleasure, the experience of the Oscar suites 20 years ago when I was here. And you're right, it was almost embarrassing, the amount of stuff they gave you.
Yeah, it was weird.
But you don't want to say no.
I got a $1,000 watch once. Like, what? Yeah, sure, Eric, go ahead. What? I was like, wow. I love watches.
What's next for you?
Well, actually, what's smarter to do than ask me is to go to imdb.com, because they know stuff about me that I forget. Oh, yeah, that's right. So ask them, because I'm horrible with titles. Ask them, and they'll tell you everything.
Looking at your IMDb page, which I did, and seeing how many credits you have to your name, one of the things I was surprised to read was student films, that you had acted in student films.
Yeah. My wife is my manager. What do you want to know about it?
Well, it seems surprising to me because you're a big name. You have all this stuff to your credit. And a student
I just love this question. My wife is my manager. And sometimes, I get, honestly, 30 to 50 offers every single day. So there's a lot of reading to do. And I have these two readers who read all my stuff. And they write synopsises. And they have a good pile and a bad pile. And I read all the synopses, all the bad ones too. I love reading about bad movies. I just love it all. And but when I read a good synopsis, I read the script, and if I like the script, I'll have my wife book it. Okay, so sometimes we get a student film, and they can pay me whatever it is, nothing, and but I always show up because my wife likes the filmmaker, or I like the synopsis, and so we go help, and it's a little bit of giving back. But I'm not like a saint, and I'm not like a martyr, but it just works that way.
I think that's really terrific, because I've always thought, when a young reporter would come up and ask me, an intern or an associate, ask, "What advice do you have for me?" And my advice was always, take absolutely everything you can get, and you'll take something away. You'll learn something that you didn't think you'd need to know, and lo and behold, down the road it comes in handy. So,
and work leads to work.
Yeah,
always has. Always
get
will.
your foot in the door.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Eric.
Of
I
course.
appreciate it.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Still Here Hollywood is a production of the Still Here Network. All things technical run by Justin Zangerle. Theme music by Brian Sanashin.